In this video, I'm going to show you how you can set up an account with Hubdoc. This is going to enable you to basically store your receipts in the cloud and link them to Xero so they can be matched to transactions. This is the optimum way of basically using Xero. So rather than just kind of using the raw transactions from your bank account in Xero, this will link it to a specific receipt, which can then be stored in the cloud. So it's a really useful way of processing your receipts in Xero and managing your finances. Okay, so the first thing is to navigate to the Hubdoc page. I'm going to assume at this stage you already have a Xero subscription, which is a requirement to have a Hubdoc account. So Hubdoc is, say it's free. It's not free because you have to pay for a Xero subscription, but essentially there's no extra cost for using Hubdoc. Hubdoc is the kind of free version linked to Xero. There are other different paid for versions of similar software, such as Dext as an example, but for most property investors, this will be adequate to your needs. Okay, so once we're in the Hubdoc page, then we're going to click Login. We're going to then click Sign Up at the bottom. Once we're there, we're going to click Sign Up with Xero. Okay, once you click that button, then you're going to come up with a Xero login page. That's going to give you an option to log into your Xero account. That will then connect your new Hubdoc account to Xero. Okay, once you're into your Hubdoc page, it's been linked to Xero. Your Hubdoc page can look a little bit like this. However, you won't have any invoices in initially. There's a few kind of buttons just to point out here. So, firstly, then upload document. This basically enables you to drag and drop files into this page here, or to click browse. It's also an option to navigate towards an app which enables you to upload receipts directly into Hubdoc, which is quite useful when you're on the move for scanning receipts. It also gives you a Hubdoc email account. So what you can do is you can copy this address, and basically any invoices you get emailed to you, you can actually send them to this email address and it goes straight into your Hubdoc account. So that's really useful. Okay, the other kind of features are that for property investors that are useful. If you click into this settings here, if you click on user, basically you can, at this point, invite additional users into your account. If there's more than, say, one of you in your company, that's a useful way to add them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you how you can process a new receipt. So like as I mentioned, there's a few different ways of including receipts into Hubdoc. Click on the upload document and it will give you the different options. So it's either drag and drop, use the app, or email it to yourself. So what I'm going to do is I've got a receipt here which I'm going to drag and drop in. Okay, so now I need to go into this invoice and process it. And basically it's going to extract a lot of the information automatically from the receipt. So you can see that this invoice, as it's been put into Hubdoc, it's actually extracted a lot of the information automatically. If for whatever reason yours isn't doing that, there's a way you can fix that. Just click into Settings, Organization, scroll to the bottom, and then just make sure Data Extraction, this tick box here, is selected. That basically enables automatic extraction of information from the receipt, which is going to save you a lot of time. Then click Save Changes. Close that down. But yeah, so imagine you've got an invoice into your Hubdoc account for the first time. You're basically just going to go through and make sure all the information is correct. So document type, it gives you a number of different options. In this case, it's an invoice. So we're going to click Invoice. It's automatically extracted the supplier, S&P Flooring. Sometimes it won't do that and you'll have to set it up as a new supplier for the first time. If it's the first time you've used that supplier, it should extract the invoice reference number. If it doesn't, you might have to put that in manually. And it should also extract the date and total amount. There may be a requirement to put in a due date if it's different to the date of the invoice, but in this case it's not required. So you're going to go in here and make sure the amount is correct. Now we need to go into destinations and just to make sure it's linked to Xero. So because this is the first time we've used this supplier, we're going to have to expand this this area here. And then basically we just make sure these are correct. So make sure it's selected as a purchase in this case. Status, go with awaiting payment. If you go with draft, when you go into Xero, you'll then have to approve the invoice for payment. Whereas if you just put awaiting payment, it will automatically move it and link it to transactions. So we're going to click awaiting payment. Contact, I say, because this is the first time we've used this supplier, we're going to have to input the details for the first time. So we're going to put S&P flooring and add as a new contact, and then click create. You see then next it says line items. So this is if there's different types of expense which need a different accounting code. But in this case, there's only one line item, so this isn't applicable. But if you were to click multiple, it basically gives you an option then to separate the total amount into different lines, but this isn't applicable in this case. So we're going to click make sure it's single. We're then going to link it to an accounting code. So I've got a different video, which again I'll put in the description, which tells you the different, gives you an example set of chart of accounts that you can use in Xero, and it also gives you an option to download it as a link in the video. So this will make sure your accounting codes are set up for a property investment company. But basically we're now going to select the correct accounting code. So in this case, because I've already set up my accounting codes, this is repairs and renewal, so it's basically replacement of an existing carpet. I've set up tracking categories on this, which you should also do. And again, I've got a video you can follow on how to do this. I basically have a different tracking category for all my different properties, so I can link an expense to an individual property, which I'll do now. There's no requirement to put in customer. I'm now going to click publish. What you see is a little green wheel going round, and hopefully that's going to now go to a green tick. That basically means that the transaction has successfully been processed, and it's now going to go into Xero. So what we'll do now is we'll go over to Xero and just process that transaction. Okay, so we're going to go into Xero. We're going to navigate from our dashboard into the relevant bank account, which the transaction was paid for in. You can see at the top there, we've got the, it's automatically come up in green. It's basically linked that invoice to the specific transaction, which was S&P flooring, basically replacement carpets, 1,460. All we need to do is click OK. Okay, and that's it. So what we've done is I've showed you how to set up your Hubdoc account and how to process invoices in Hubdoc. And I've showed you using a demonstration how you can process an invoice in Hubdoc, and it links it to your Xero account. It's really the most efficient way of managing your finances using Xero. So make sure once you've got your Xero subscription, you also sign up to Hubdoc and set your account up. I think one thing to specify is that unfortunately Hubdoc doesn't allow you to process rental statements. So that'll be a statement which has a combination of income from your tenant and also expenses such as agent fees. Hubdoc isn't clever enough to enable you to process that in Xero, unfortunately. And it's the same for any kind of other software like Dex I've tried. I'd love to find a solution which enables you to do this, but unfortunately it doesn't currently exist. But it's definitely a great way of processing things like supplier invoices and invoices for your accountant, for example. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful. If so, please do remember to like and subscribe for further content.